Hey weirdos, welcome back to my channel. My name is EmmaAbe, and today I've decided that we're going to be doing a book tag, and we're going to be doing the donut book tag. First, let's do the disclaimer that I'm probably going to mispronounce things. It's not intentional, all part of my disabilities. Let's get into the actual tag and the books that I have chosen. What is this? What is... Oh, I forgot these were in here. These stickers my students gave me in China. Question number 1 is classic. A classic book that you feel like everyone should read. And the answer to that is pretty simple. I've talked about this book a little bit on my channel before, and that is The Jungle by Upton St. Clair. I even have like a graphic novel form of The Jungle. I have some issues with this that I talked about in one of my previous wrap-ups before. I really like The Jungle. I think it's very important, not only for the historical significance, but also for the way it talks about capitalism and early turn of the century capitalism, basically unregulated capitalism, and how easy it is for us to slip back into that. And I think that people should read it, not only for like the meat packing and all of that other industry stuff, but also to realize that this is what the turn of the century looked like. Although this is a novel and not actually nonfiction, I think it's so important. When I read it, I was gobsmacked. Like, I knew this stuff happened, but until you hear like a personal narrative of that happening, of an immigrant family coming to America and trying to eke out a living, it's so important, because we do not want to repeat early turn of the century capitalism. I think that in today's society we really need to keep that in the back of our minds, and we need to remember that. The next prompt is Vanilla Frosted, a simple but engaging book. And for that I chose 1,000 Miles to Freedom, My Escape from North Korea by Inyuk Kim, with Sebastian Faletti and translated by David Tian. And while the subject matter that this talks about isn't necessarily simple, I found that it was a very short read. It was very easy to get through, and it was very engaging, and it was something that I never really like learned about before. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a very easy and digestible way to look at North Korean culture and look at the famine that happened and all of that in an easy and understandable way. So that's why I chose this one. The next prompt is Chocolate Frosted, what is your second favorite book by your favorite author? And I chose to interpret this as one of my favorite authors because I have lots of authors that I really like, and it's hard for me to pick just one favorite. So the author I went with was Jane Austen, because I have a clear ranking in my head on her books. The book I'm going with is Pride and Prejudice, which I don't actually have a copy of right now, so that's why you're seeing it on the screen. My personal favorite one of Jane Austen's is Sense and Sensibility, which I haven't actually gone back and read recently. I should do that. That is a good point. People really like Pride and Prejudice, and I don't fault them for that. I really like it too. That's why it's my second favorite. The reason I haven't reread Sense and Sensibility recently is because my library book back home doesn't have an audiobook copy, so it's kind of hard for me to read things when I don't have the book, have to read it just with my eyeballs when I know there's audiobook. The next category is Strawberry Frosted, a lesser known work from a known writer you feel should be read more. I definitely felt like that way about this book growing up, and I was like, why aren't more people talking about this? This doesn't make any sense. And that is Ever by Gail Carson Levine. I have not reread this since I was a child, but I really liked this, and it was up there. Like, I like this better than Ella Enchanted, and if you know Gail Carson Levine, you probably know her through Ella Enchanted. That's like her most popular work, and it's a good work, but I personally like Ever better. I think it still has the fairy tale vibe that Gail Carson Levine is very known for, but goes a little bit different direction because she talked a lot about gods, which I think is cool. I think that people should give this more of a chance when reading Gail Carson Levine's things, especially when reading it to their kids. The next prompt is Glazed, a writer that immediately immersed you. And for me, I don't actually have that book, but that writer is Toni Morrison. I love her work. It's very difficult to read, not in the sense of the words she uses, but in the subject matter. The subject matter is very heavy, and if you are not emotionally prepared to deal with heavy things, then don't read her work. There's a reason she's so beloved. Wow. That was not intentional at all. One of her works is called Beloved, and I really like that one. I had to do a report on Beloved in high school. I think more people should read it. The next prompt is Jelly, a work that contained more than you expected, and for that I'm going to go with the Gene by Siddhartha Mukherjee. I love this book. Oh my god. It's super sciencey, so if you don't like science fiction, then you're not gonna like this book. But I really liked it. I really liked the ending where oh, I didn't realize I still had this in here. It's a bookmark that I used, which is a business card, but I'm not gonna show you who it was. I think it's a really good discussion about genetics. I thought it was just going to be going over like the history of genetics, but it turned out to be a lot more than that. It was lots of really good discussions about how genetics affect us as people, ways that people have used genetics to do bad things. Eugenics. Did you hear something? I didn't hear something. I came out on the other end loving it. So if you like science stuff, then pick this up. The next prompt is Boston Cream, a scholarly work you would recommend to a casual reader. And for that, I'm going with Guns, Germs, and Steel, The Fates of Human Societies by Jared Diamond. I really like this. I think it's written in a very approachable manner. There's a reason that Guns, Germs, and Steel, you hear about it so much. If you do not know anything about anthropology or the evolution of societies or culture or anything like that, or geography, this is a really good place to sort of give you not necessarily like an introduction, but to start exploring the similar topics. I personally have issues with the fact that it's categorized into history. That's just me. It is a lot of pages, but it's worth it. Jared Diamond does a really good job about keeping things understandable to the layman. I personally really appreciated the emphasis Jared Diamond put on geography. It's very important. People like to discount it. Also really liked the discussion. He goes through the different sizes of Word of God, ripped straight out of an anthropology textbook. The next prompt is Cruller, a work that makes you think of France. Any work really set in France. I don't read a lot of books that make me think of France, but I figured let's go with Marie Antoinette, A Journey, because Marie Antoinette basically was a foreigner going into France and her getting introduced to the highly structured French society and French aristocracy. This is a book set in France, kind of looking at an outsider's point of view. That's my specific book choice, but really you could just pick any book set in France, at least in my opinion. The next prompt is Powdered Sugar, a work that left you with evident emotions. I'm interpreting that as making me cry like a little baby. That is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak, and oh my god, you know what's gonna happen. The author literally spoils the book for you halfway through, and I still was crying. Oh my god, I couldn't even. I was laying in my bed just sobbing. I really love that book, but I will not be rereading it anytime soon. I don't want to because of emotional health, fun stuff. Check out that book. It's a really good book. The next prompt is Cider, the perfect read to read in front of a fire in fall. And I guess I would say Frankenstein by Mary Shelley off the shelves, just because I think that fall is the perfect time to be reading about scary, spooky things, stuff that goes bump in the night. You really could read anything scary or anything spooky, but I think Frankenstein is a good one because it makes you think about your own morality and who actually is the bad person. And if you haven't read Frankenstein, what are you doing? You need to do that because it's not what you think. It's not like the movies depict it as. I really enjoyed this. The next prompt is Donut Hole, a collection of short stories that you enjoyed, and so for that I would say really pick up any collection of Edgar Allan Poe's short stories. I highly enjoy them. They're just little dark masterpieces. I don't personally have a collection with me right now. Edgar Allan Poe's stories are just, I love coming back to them in the fall time. I love reading them. I could read them whenever. They're so spooky, ooky, and great. Check out his writings. The next prompt is Robbery Frosted, a book you would recommend to Homer Simpson. I know nothing about Homer Simpson. We didn't really watch The Simpsons at all because we didn't have cable, so we couldn't. So I really know nothing about Homer Simpson other than like what I vaguely know from memes, and that is like nothing. I think I would recommend a book with lots of pictures. I also think he's kind of inappropriate, so I guess I would recommend some erotic stuff. I don't know. A book that comes to mind is the collector's editions of Victorian lesbian erotica. I think he would find that a lot of fun. I think it might be too many words for him. Sorry that this one was boring and stupid, but I don't know anything about Homer Simpson. Next prompt is, what is my favorite kind of donut? And I enjoy chocolate. Chocolate is amazing. Anything with chocolate. Chocolate on chocolate on chocolate, that's great. But I do, on the occasion, enjoy a good glazed. The very last prompt is, time to make the donuts. Tag people. If you look in the description box, I will put who I am tagging in this video. If you're not, I'm sorry, but please feel free to do this tag. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching this video and sitting here with me. Do the obligatory things that, you know, you're supposed to do, like liking, sharing, subscribing, follow me on social media. I have those. You'll find that stuff in the description box. Instagram's kind of a new thing for me. I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing. Oh, I feel like that's so true, just about my everyday life. Bye, I will see you next week. Oh my god, my feet are asleep.